spent all this time talking about Aaron Rodgers. We might as well talk about the guy who's going to succeed him at quarterback in Green Bay, Jordan Love, who arrived in the league, of course, as a first-round pick in the year 2020, and then proceeded to watch the player in front of him just burn the league to the ground and win back-to-back MVP awards, for then burning the league to the ground in a much different way and being terrible in 2022, and then holding us all hostage all offseason. But Jordan Love, he fell to the end of the first round in 2020. He was kind of like a divisive first-round prospect, very mixed resume. It was kind of like, it wasn't as extreme as Trey Lance, but it was kind of like he was hyped more on like traits than he was on like production and that kind of thing. We just don't really know what in the world to expect out of Jordan Love. We know that it's the second time in a row the Packers have replaced like an inner circle Hall of Famer with a first-round pick. It just seems like kind of a lot different situation than it did with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. Kyle, what in the world? What are like the proper expectations, especially in fantasy, for Jordan Love in 2023? Is there any QB1 juice here at all?
Yeah, from a fantasy perspective, I really struggle to see like where any excitement would come from. Cause like, even if you just grant that like, let's just pencil him in. If I'm doing projections, pencil him in for like average efficiency. Let's say I'd say that'd be a good outcome, right? If the Packers get at this point an average quarterback from a guy who is a pretty mixed prospect and then doesn't play for 3 years. It's been 3 years already. My God.
It is unbelievable. It's been 3 years.
Yeah. To get average level play, like league average, he ranks 16th in every stat, would be kind of a win. I'd be happy with that if I was a Packers fan, essentially. And I just don't see how that translates to any meaningful amount of QB production, because the Packers don't play offense in a way that is going to foster good quarterback play unless that dude has a 7% touchdown clip like Aaron Rodgers did when he was a good fantasy quarterback. He wasn't that guy last year. Last year, they were minus 3% pass rate over expected, 28th in neutral situation pace. And those are like the type of stats you see from teams that want to win games 13-10. And that's when they had Aaron freaking Rodgers. He was coming off back-to-back MVPs, and they still were like, let's play boring, defense-oriented, not exciting football. How do you think they're going to play whenever they have Jordan Love under center? So I'm not excited about it, even just from a situational perspective. Maybe he's good, but like Rodgers was good. He wasn't as good last year, but he was still fine. If they weren't going to open it up with that guy, they're not doing Jordan Love.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers' lawyer, Joe Rogan, has contacted me, taking umbrage with that I said that he was horrible last year. I may have.
He wasn't great, though. He was way fall off from that 2021 and 2020 guy, for sure. It was concerning.
I may have overstated the case just a little bit. But yeah, it was actually the worst season of his professional career. Almost any way you slice it, it's really close to his first year as starter as Green Bay. And Denny, one of the reasons Jordan Love was divisive coming in 2018, he's really, really good at Utah State in the Mountain West. 2019, rather infamously, in 13 games, he had 20 touchdown passes and 17 interceptions. He had 0 rushing touchdowns. It was a really, really just like really curious mixed final year in college for Jordan Love. And do you have anything to counter what Kyle said? Or there's nothing QB1 to see here, is there?
I don't think so. I am a little more optimistic about Jordan Love based on the fact that he sat for 3 years, but he was going to sit for 15 years if Aaron Rodgers stayed there for 15 years. Like there was no scenario in which he would usurp Aaron Rodgers, just like Aaron Rodgers sat for however many years behind.
Also 3.
Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Every time Aaron Rodgers got into a game when Favre was faltering at the end, you just knew. Okay, well, this guy's like a top tier starter in the NFL. Obviously, you don't know that with Jordan Love, but I draw some hope, some optimism from his second half performance last year against.
I forgot how the flame that lit in your heart, that one half.
I mean, that one like deep slant to Christian Watson where he took it, I think, all the way.
It did
doing a lot of lifting here.
That lit a fire inside Denny.
Yeah. He completed 6 of 9 passes for 113 yards and a touchdown. His adjusted
hope springs eternal, fellas.
And it is spring, so this makes sense. Adjusted yards per attempt in that game was nearly 15. He has some ability to move around the pocket. I don't know if he's going to add a bunch of rushing fantasy production. I don't think he is. I think it comes down to like if Matt LaFleur is going to run this offense in the same extremely boring way that he did last year, then I guess there's probably nothing to see here as far as like every week starter situation goes for Jordan Love. If they change a little bit, if they are a little more up tempo, if they are a little more pass heavy, then I do think he's worth monitoring, but he'll probably be a streamer most likely.
It really is what
Pat, I think it is really going to be Aaron Rodgers' lawyers coming down hard on us after first you saying that it was a horrid season, but second, you giving Jordan Love the credit to call 20 touchdowns and 17 interceptions curious, whereas most people would call that a disaster.
It was
Rodgers not happy about that one either.
And I think you guys got to the heart of the matter for Jordan Love for 2023, where even if he does come out looking like a new player than we saw his final season at Utah State, just like a really polished, like a guy who actually did learn by sitting, which did happen with Aaron Rodgers, I suppose. But even if he looks really good, it's the system is just going to really be working against him. And especially with the receiver core still in flux. I mean, we saw a lot out of Christian Watson as a rookie, but still by no means a loaded skill core for the Packers. And so that even if Jordan Love looks better than expected, he's not going to – he's athletic, but, yeah, he was never like didn't operate like as a dual threat at Utah State. And it's not going to – even if he's better than expected, it's probably going to be like a wait till 2024 situation with Jordan Love. And there's just no reason to get excited about him in fantasy this year.